Well, it is about that time. It is time to get Sketching Weekly. Now, if you're watching this, and obviously you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to watch these live, they're on the Discord. You got to come in there to actually see it stream, and I'm about to go in there right now and fire up the stream over there. So I'm going to jump on into the voice chat, and I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to scroll on down here, and where is it? There it is. Okay. Close that window. And we'll go live. We'll fire that up. And anyway, as you can probably tell from the reference I've got up on my screen here, I'm still messing around with knees. So let me come over here and just kind of, I'm just sort of messing around at the moment and just kind of getting a feel for so you got kind of a slope. I'm looking at this as my reference right now. That's exaggerated. I need to be more conscientious of the proportions there. That kind of swoops around, and then here's the other side of the leg. We've got the shading. We've got kind of a shading thing that comes around here, and we've got this sense here of the area that's needs to come in further. It needs to be narrower in there. And got a little bit of highlight there, and everything else is in shadow. Then here's the sock. There's kind of the stripe on the sock. And the other leg over here, the same general kind of thing, but this time we're looking kind of from the front. A little bit of a highlight there, and we've got the same basic concept there. So we've got sort of a swoop, swoop, and a swoop, swoop. And this swings off to that side, and this swings off to that side. So we got that there, and we've got this here. Okay, now I'm just giving this some thought and just kind of putting some time in it. And these are all from different artists, so different artists have a different take on how to do knees. It's like this particular take on it is more of a it has a kind of, it has a very Japanese feel to it, and the reason is that Japanese women develop thicker calves and slimmer thighs than Americans. This is kind of an American structure for the leg. You got that thick, juicy thigh up on the top, and you got these little slender calves down at the bottom. You can see here, it's nice and slim, because Americans kind of prefer that slender leg look. But in Japan, women are very concerned with their weight. They're very concerned with the shape of their body, but they walk a lot. There's a lot of walking going on, so there's a lot of meat being placed on the lower leg and not as much being placed on the upper leg. There's not as much sedentary behavior in Japan. They tend to walk around a lot more. So you get kind of, this is sort of the midway point between the two. Is the this is kind of that midway point between the Western aesthetic and the Eastern aesthetic. And one of the things in particular that I'm trying to look at here is shading and how the shading is accomplished, because I don't really do a very good job of the shading. So that kind of hooks around this bit right here. We've got, and there's a little highlight in there. It doesn't make sense that there's a highlight here. But, okay, so, yeah, when I zoom in here on this, we've got a bit of a highlight in here. Doesn't make a lot of sense because that's not where the light is coming from. These right here, this little highlight there, that's in the back. There's no light shining on the back of the legs. The light is coming from in front here. So that doesn't make any sense. Now these are amateur artists. I nabbed most of these off of DeviantArt, just kind of looking at stuff. So we've got here is kind of this this rough idea of where the thigh bone is, and then here's the muscle there. Here would be the actual kneecap, and then this a little bit here, and that would be the tendon connecting it. So we've got sort of that thing going on there. Let me pull that back out to full. What we've got here is kind of, here's the shape of the end. We've got the thigh. Thigh shapes are pretty simple. They're just, it doesn't matter which one you look at. They tend to be pretty much just this sort of curving shape. Now, these are some good muscular thighs. You got a good muscle right there, and it kind of sweeps in, and you've got this tight pull in around there, and this is actually really well done. These right here, these are some shapely model legs. These, of course, are the innocent princess legs, and you can see here. This is the this bit here has the shortcut of the two little lines. Kind of, and you could do that same thing here or here. This also has that kind of double line thing going on. The lines sort of fill in for this area right here. You could add them here. This bent leg right here, I really need to work on this kind of thing, because I'm not sure how to make that look right. This is really well done with the shading up through here, and a little highlight there, that lost edge along there. And you kind of get this this little area right in here. You get this sort of sweeping shape like that. So you've kind of got, here's the thigh and here's the knee, and you've got kind of a sweep down and sweep across there. Okay, and let me so the shading on this will be a sort of a so if I work with kind of a brush concept here, if I drop down to color and I go, well, let's just grab. So if we just grab the color of that eye right there, and we just go, okay, here we go. And we sort of rough that in. Just go, all right, there it is, and then we'll rough in over here the calf. Now, if I add a new layer and I drop down the available options and I switch to multiply, now this needs to be a little warmer. So let's kind of, no, it needs to be even warmer than that. A little warmer, and let's go a little more saturated. There we go. Yeah. So let's come in here. Let's kind of get a sort of an outline going around here. Okay, if I had a blending thing, didn't I? Subtool, correct line, move layer, correct line, move layer. I think I just switched to, isn't this it? Subtool, eraser, and there's the blender. So if I kind of smooth that off, and there. It's not terrible. I'm not happy with it, but it is better than nothing. I really need to do that differently. Now switch over here, and I will take these two, and I'll add them into this folder. I'll name that folder Knee 1. Now we'll close that off. And new layer. There's a color layer. We'll name that shading, and we'll name this color. And okay, so if we start with something more like this, now we're in, I'll put it in brush mode. Brush, fill. I should put the blend on here too. I should put the blend tool on here. So let me go ahead and do that. That's in File, isn't it? Shortcut settings. Okay, and we're not looking at auto actions. What we want to look at is tools, and brush. We got fill, and blend is J. Do I have anything mapped to J? It's a good question. Pull up my keys and bring it down here so you can see what I'm looking at here. Express keys setting. Have I got a J over here? I have not. Okay, so I don't have a J mapped. Let's map blend to B. Okay. So now B, alter, we got brush, blend, fill. Brush, blend, bucket, really. That's the way I'm thinking of it. Anyway. Okay, so that'll do something. So let's begin by, we're down here in color. Let me duplicate the line art. Then we'll duplicate all of these and we'll go create folder and insert layer, which will say need to. Okay, so we're going to start with, we're going to go to the color and we're going to go to our brush. We're going to go, hey, let's start with this kind of, and we're thinking about the three-dimensional nature of the shape. As we're doing this, so here is the initial layout, and then we'll jack that over here and get the saturation a little bit more. Now we'll go up to the shading, drop that down and set it to shading will be set to multiply, and now we'll kind of do the shading around there. We'll have a bit lighter shading here. Now underneath the knee, we want to get in there. We're going to get in over here. Switch to our blending mode and kind of soften that up a little bit. So I can pull the shadows down. Or I can push the highlights up. Kinda. Yeah, that's a useful technique. Okay, so let's click over to line art, pull down black, and we're gonna go. Then black, there's line art. And we'll go to a regular brush. That area there, that needs to be wider. Let's grab that color and we'll come over here to the color area again. We'll widen that out. So we want to get this kind of, want to get the shape of the leg. We still want that shape to be a feminine leg. So we want the bulge in the calf to be shallow and lower. You don't want to go big and bulky up top. Big and bulky up top looks masculine. So what we want on this is we want a little bit there and a little bit there, and we want kind of a swing to it because there's a pronounced curve to the tibia that a lot of people don't really put in place. And this isn't really kind of a swoop in there. It's the knee sitting on top of everything else. And this is the advancing member. We've kind of got the thigh is coming forward right here, and the calf is moving backwards. So we're interlacing that joint to the advancing member. Let me get a cleaner sort of. So like here's the thigh right here. Here are all the front muscles of the thigh, and then you've got kind of the inner sort of tenderloin muscle comes in here. And then there is the knee. There's the kneecap right there, and then coming up from behind it is the calf, and coming off of the side here is the calf. And carve that away a bit. So that is about the right that's about the right concept there. Now we want to jack up the saturation a bit, go over to shading. Shading is on multiply where it should be. And here's where the shadows hit, right here. And that comes down along there. Carve that off to the side. And we got the bottom there. And we got a bit in there. And we've got that kind of, this is sort of the area right here. And we want to go a little bit less saturated there. We want to get a kind of a pinkish bit right in there, and then we'll go into blend, and we want to kind of blend that downward like so. Blend that over to the side. This we want to kind of sharpen up by pushing the highlight into it. Same thing here. We want to kind of push the highlight in there. And get that pinkish bit coming out. And here we got this. I don't think this shading is going well. I think I need to give some consideration to how and why I'm doing the shading. Because it's kind of a paint with light thing. If we come down here to color and we just go, there's the brush. So we've got kind of a, here is the knee. Kind of in that area. Then we got the thigh that swoops upward. We got the thigh up here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and clear knee 2, and I'm going to new layer. We're going to duplicate the line art layer, and we're going to take line art copy 2 right there, and we're going to go boom, create folder and insert layer, knee 3, oops, knee 3, okay. That's line art, and that's shading, we're going to drop it down and put it on multiply, and we're going to put that color, and underneath 2, okay, so here's knee 3. We got our line art, we got our shading, we got our color. Okay, and that'll work. Okay, so starting on the color, let's take a look at something like it's this right here. Grab that color, which is more of a sort of you got kind of coming off the hips there, you gotta swoop inward, and that has kind of a, so that's kind of one muscle, and then here is kind of the other muscle, and that comes in, and this comes down and kind of laces onto the knee. And here's the rest of the knee, and here's that side of the calf, and here's the other side of the calf right there. We can just kind of fill that in. Let's jump into the line art, and we'll sort of I want to kind of swoop in there, and here we want to kind of follow the contour, and I want to cut in there. On this side we want to come down here, and on this side I'm going to kind of curve in like so. Now here, with where the knee is, I go back to color, and I go back to my big bold brush, and I put that in there, and then here we go into shading, and we want to go pinker, more saturated, and we want to go here. There's shadow there, and there's shadow at the top. Clean that up, right in there. And then up underneath the here, we have that kind of swooping Y going on. This keeps popping up over and over again, this kind of swoop over here, and then this over here. And then that bit there doesn't come up quite so much. We got kind of that thing going on. And then this, and we got, that goes into place. And then we can come in with the blender and just sort of a little bit bigger there. Just kind of blend that in, smooth it out. I'm not really happy with the way the blending is going, but it's not terrible. Switch to the blender, jack up the size. I'm not really happy with that, but let's swoop that back somewhat. You can do this infinitely in digital, and you really can't do that with traditional art. You have a limit to how much you can do with the shading. This is not very good, is what this is. So let's let's go from just a pure imagination standpoint, and we want to get a reasonable skin tone here. Okay. So we kind of get this light orange here. What's different about that? It's just farther to the. If we look over here on the color picker, we can see that this color is it's right at the border between orange and red, right in there, and it's very desaturated. If we saturate it a bit more, and then we get that, and if we a bit more in a yellow direction, we get that, but yeah, if we desaturate that somewhat, there, that's a good color right there, and that looks like a skin tone. So if we just go straight from just the idea of a leg, and here's the thigh, and we're going to have the leg kind of coming off to the side here. I'm going to carve that away. Okay, so that's about right. And checking our proportions here, if I come over to line art, and we're going to jack that down. We're going to go, whoop. That cuts in a little. This cuts in a lot, but also comes down a bit past there. That's about right. Here, this one, I did not do a very good job on that at all. Let's pull that back. There, that's about right. Okay, so there we have that. And clean up the line work there. Clean it up here. Clean up the hairy line there and the hairy line there. And now we're going to jump into the shading layer. We're going to grab our color and we're going to go, okay, we want to be a little bit pinker. We want to be a little bit more saturated, and we're in multiply already. So we're going to trying to give a pull that in there, and this that goes there. And here we've got the we've got that little Y that happens. So now we go to the blending brush and we just kind of smooth this in. This is not bad. That's not terrible. I mean, I'm not happy with it, but we are getting somewhere with the results that we're looking at here, and yeah, so that's a thing there. Let me see if I can I duplicate the entire folder? I can. Let's delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Okay, so knee 3 is in. I got knee 4. Here's our line art. Yeah, I should do this folder thing more often. Let's come down here and we'll do some quick line art. Let's try and draw a let's try and do a right leg, because I've been doing exclusively left legs for no good reason. So let's kind of swoop that down, and then we'll swoop this down, and here's the there's the calf over there, and here's the calf over here. That cuts inward, this cuts inward somewhat sooner. No, this cuts in sooner. Here we've got, up here's the hip. And we've got, what are our proportions like? Here would be the ankle. Have I again forgotten which ankle bone is higher? Yes, I have. The inside ankle bone is higher. It's out this way. So there's kind of where the foot goes there. So that right there should be about right. So let's cut and paste. And then from line art copy 2, we're going to go move layer, and we're going to control D, and we're going to go, hey, how's that for the proportion there? It works out, and it works out well. That's about right. It's a little bit off, I think, but not enough to be worried about. The proportions are decent. Yeah, we can dump that. We can dump that layer. I'll just wipe that off. Along with that, and we'll wipe some of the hair. You gotta shave your legs. Get rid of some of the hair. This is kind of what we're left with here. And when we go in and we shade this, that was obnoxious. Knocked my Steam controller off of the desk. Got my foot caught in the cord. And they'll say, hey, why do you still use corded controllers? Because I like having a wire, damn it. Okay, so let's grab an appropriate skin tone. Let's come up here. Let's come over here, and we'll go into the color area. How's that? That looks good. So we'll begin by kind of going around the contour there. Once we've gone around the contour, I will so we'll get that skin tone in there. I wonder if there's like a trick to doing skin tones. Like for selecting colors, something that would also work with darker skin tones and not just be like white people skin tones. Okay, now I'm going to go a little bit pinker and I'm going to go a little bit more saturated, and we're going to go. Yeah, here's the primary shadow right here. So what I kind of want to do is I want to circle around the. Yeah, that's about what it's supposed to be. And now if I switch over to the blender, then I can kind of smooth this out. I think once I get down into that area, I think I need a smaller blender. I think I need to push the highlight down into the shadow like there, then pull the shadow down at the bottom of the Y, right in there. And there should really be shadow there, which of course we want to blend in I'll blend in that fashion. And then we'll kind of push the highlight into it from the outside to scale it back. That is not bad. That is actually beginning to look like I know what I'm doing. That's not terrible. I'm not at all upset with this. So that's something. You go back to brush. That's the fill. Okay, so if I'm going to do the other leg is going to sit right here. It's just like that other eye thing. You got to try and get the whole situation. And if we're going to work this, okay, so let's try and do a sort of lifted leg. If we're doing a lifted leg, then first of all, the leg comes up more like so. The knee is going to be up higher. We have some foreshortening, which makes it look fatter, which means it's going to taper rather dramatically. And then here, we're going to have kind of a similar thing where the back leg tapers dramatically right there. So that's where this is where our knee sits. Let's get some line art in there to just kind of clarify that. And that's going to have a very dramatic sort of sweep in there. And then we're going to have a kind of barreling here. That's going to taper dramatically, and then at the end, it'll be this foot back here. So there we're going to have this back to the color and jump back in there with that. Okay, and there will obviously be some rather dramatic shading. I jump in there and we'll that's not even going to have anything to blend, really. Put it in a blending mode, and we'll bring that down, this up. Not a whole lot to blend here, but clean that up a bit. And that is not terrible. That's something, I guess. Let's go back to the color and we'll clean this up a bit, and we need to come back up the shading and clean that up a bit, and get into our line art and clean that up a little. Hairy lines over here. That's a lack of confidence in your stroke is what that hairy line means. There we go. That's much better. Clean up a little of the hair over here. Shave the legs. Clean that up, clean that up. Jump over to shading. Get a little wider and clean up that space around there. Clean that up here. The shading, clean up the shading there. Alert. Okay, that's not awful. Yeah, that's something. This is absolutely a significant quantity of progress. I'm not sure this is, well, this is definitely not like high quality stuff, but it is better than I've been doing, and yeah, I feel like I'm getting somewhere with this, just kind of studying how knees work and where they fit together. Doing more painting site sorts of things and more working some with color. I am really awful with color. I don't even know how to use the tools on this shit. But I do still jump in and try to get it done. And that's the important thing, you know, is and I'm not over here trying to tell anybody how to work or even teach anybody anything anymore. I mean, I was doing some stuff trying to like teach people shit, but I really need to work on my skills more before I've like earned the right to talk about like all the stuff that I learned from looking stuff up. Because you don't, just because you know something doesn't mean that you can apply it. And when you're teaching people, you should be teaching them how to apply things. So I kind of feel like I need to put more effort into that, and be able to apply the things that I picked up from like Bern Hogarth and in the various other books that I'm working with. At some point, I need to get around to doing backgrounds. That's an important thing. But for the moment, it is like just, I mean, honestly, all I'm doing here is just fucking around trying to figure out what I'm doing. I don't really understand how to use the tools. I'm no expert with Clip Studio Paint. I'm no expert at drawing this stuff. And I do feel like I'm getting better with color and whatnot. And I think this reads as a pair of legs pretty well. But I'm definitely not happy with it. This is not like, okay, this is good enough. I don't need to practice anymore. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But, yeah, that's mostly what I do these streams for, is to make myself practice at least once a week, which essentially forces me to make progress. And that's important. It's important to actually sit down and do the work. So I'm going to save this off here. Knees, and this is the wrong folder. Okay. Knee study clip, knee stuff. Okay, knee stuff 2. That's what we'll be. We'll be knee stuff 2. More knee stuff. Save your progress. It's very important to save your progress. You can go back and you can look at it later. Okay. So I don't know. I'll just. Whoa, there are 2 people watching my stream. That never happens. Okay, anyway, I'm going to jump off of this for the YouTube crowd. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all of that shit. That's how you tell YouTube that you like this content and you want to see more stuff like it. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. You know, the algorithm isn't working for me. It doesn't give a fuck about creators. It never has given a shit about creators. It's about the audience. It's about you. So if you like this kind of thing, tell YouTube that you like it and it'll find more stuff like it. Like my stuff. My stuff is like this. So, you know, it's a win-win situation. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of the YouTube thing. Okay, bye.